what I've found difficult is that when you're trying to sell a company, you're actually really selling the vision. You're having to say like, this is the world that we want to create. And what I found very difficult is bridging that divide between saying what it is right now and
Yeah.
where it's going to be. Because when you're talking to people, they unfortunately they have this idea that founders are going to oversell, right? So if you sell exactly at the level that you're at right now, they're going to take you down by 30%. And I even spoke to a venture capitalist, a very respected venture capitalist of one of the oldest venture capital firms in South Africa. And I asked him the question, like, how, to what extent are you expecting people to oversell you? And he said, well, if I look at projections, I immediately knock 30% off. Straight off the bat, that's their rule of thumb. They will always knock 30% off any projections that you give them because they know that you are going to just be too optimistic. But he
Yeah.
also then went further to say, like, there are ways to say things that are not necessarily lying, right? Because for me, it's important to be truthful, but there are phrasings, there are ways to propose things that are more compelling. And that's been something that I found incredibly useful. From my co-founder Joe and other friends that have said like sometimes one can be too honest. One can say things too exactly with where things are. It's like rather than saying, which I would say is, I'm building a product. Rather say I built a product,
Mm.
because you have built parts of it. Um, the exact person in me says, well, a product is never finished, but it is just unfortunately more compelling. It shows more conviction. It shows more backability to use words like built instead of building. And I think that's something that's just not spoken about enough. I don't know if it should be spoken about more, but I think that it would be very useful for builders to know that that is a reality of this world.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's like actually really true. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah.
yeah,
And is there
yeah,
anything
cool.
the community can do for you or find homes? Like, I mean, I
Mm,
can put a link so they can find
yeah,
property. Yeah.
yeah. I think that that would be the coolest part. I think if people can uh, just try it out. If you get bad results, there's a little support button right at the bottom in the corner. You will get an email directly to me. Um,
Okay.
and I really try to respond to every email that I get out of that because I think it's really important to build that kind of community. So yeah, please, we welcome all kinds of ideas. We think the product's already really good, but there's always room for growth. And there's a lot of really exciting features coming down the line.
Thanks for listening. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.